What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the A24 Archive. This is the segment on my channel where I go through A24's entire filmography from the first film that they've released all the way till whenever I get caught up. And it's been an incredibly daunting task, but it's been a lot of fun because I've been able to revisit a lot of films that I haven't seen in a while and also watch some new films that are totally fresh and exciting to me. And this is the second documentary that I've watched that A24 has produced. And I was really excited about this one because this is a documentary about filmmaker Brian De Palma. And I am not 100% familiar with Brian De Palma's work, but the films that I have seen have been so incredibly interesting as far as the approach for the cinematography, the way things are shot, the way the pacing is structured, and he's a really kind of interesting human being. And so I was really excited to watch this, and the movie I'm going to be talking about today is De Palma. De Palma is directed by Noah Baumbach and Jake Paltrow. An intimate conversation between filmmakers chronicling De Palma's 55-year career, his life, and his filmmaking process, with revealing anecdotes and, of course, a wealth of film clips. So knowing that Noah Baumbach worked on this was really exciting to me as well because I love Noah. I think he's an incredible filmmaker, and clearly he's someone who really respects Brian De Palma. And I didn't really know what to expect with this, but I really did enjoy it. It's a really interesting structure for a documentary because essentially they sat De Palma down in a room and just let him talk about his film career, essentially from where he started to where he is currently, and everything that went through the processes of all of the different films that he made, the struggles that he had making certain films, the disappointment that he had with the reception of some of his films. And I always think, especially someone who went to film school, that it's really fascinating to hear from a director's perspective the challenges of getting a film made. All of these stories, like hearing him talk about Scarface and the amount of issues that went through getting that film made, the amount of writers that they went through, the struggle with the community when they went to Miami to even get the film made, was really fascinating, and similar struggles that he went through on Carlito's Way. I thought it was really interesting. I just did my video recently on Carrie, and I talked about the film and the book adaptation, and Brian was talking about how when he was working with his screenwriter to come up with the screenplay for Carrie based on the book, that he wanted to do a lot of flashback and flash forward sequences like in the book where it's kind of jumping all over the place. And Brian was like, that's going to be incredibly jarring. People aren't going to like that at all. And they ended up stripping it from the film, to which, like I said in my video, I think works a hell of a lot better than what Stephen King gives us in the novel. And so that was really interesting to hear his stories too. And I think it was interesting to hear the wide array of like people that he was close to, including like George Lucas and Steven Spielberg and all of these people that are incredible, working with Robert De Niro so early in his career. That was really fascinating to listen to him talk about the relationship that he had with all of those people and how like they would just show up on set. They were talking about the shootout sequence in Scarface and how Steven Spielberg just showed up on set while he was doing that, and he was asking him, should I shoot it from another angle? Because I guess at that period in time, Al Pacino had gotten hurt. Something had happened to him where they had to shoot without him for 2 weeks. And so for 2 weeks, De Palma was like, I had to literally try and shoot every scene that I had without my lead actor. So I can only imagine how just insane that is. And it was really interesting to hear him talk about some of the films in his catalog that didn't perform really well, like to him talking about the Black Dahlia and how he wanted to try to approach it as straightforward as possible, but then when it was released, people didn't really like it. And this whole idea of like how certain things don't translate perfectly to film, and how like the adjustments and the shifts that you do really matter at the end of the day. And it was really interesting to hear how perseverant Brian was, because there's so many times throughout the film that he was like, I looked at myself after this was over and I said I could not make a better movie than this. And knowing that even someone to his caliber that has created so many amazing pieces of cinema, that he doubted himself consistently and thought, like, if people hate this, like, what more can I actually do? And then to hear him talk about his influences, like he is super influenced by Alfred Hitchcock. You can see it through a lot of shots in his film, through the ways that he faces things, through some of his plot twists that he throws into his movies, that he definitely is heavily influenced by Hitchcock. And I thought that was really cool to hear. He had this little spiel that he went on that he was talking about how not enough filmmakers have kind of championed all these really amazing techniques that Alfred Hitchcock came up with, and that he tried to utilize as many of them as he could through his career. And I thought that was really amazing. And to look at the diversity of De Palma's career and like all of the different genre films that he's made, it's really fascinating to me to see someone so prolific make so many different types of films. And it was really cool. It's mostly just a conversation. Like, the cinematography is a flat shot of him in a room, and then it's just compiled with behind the scenes footage from the film. So it's nothing too visually exciting, but if you're a person who loves film, and even if you're not super familiar with De Palma's catalog, just listening to Brian talk about the challenges to make a movie was so fascinating, and I'm really glad I watched this one. And I actually, here in the near future, I've watched a couple of Brian De Palma films that I'm going to be doing reviews on because of watching this documentary. So look forward to those here in the near future. So have you seen De Palma? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought it was a really well-made documentary with some really interesting behind-the-scenes stuff. I thought that it was really good. I really enjoyed the pacing and the structure, and I thought they did a really nice job with this one. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot. Lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.